This is a video inventory for 10A George Street for the academic year 2026-2027. I can confirm that all windows in the property are operational. The property has been professionally cleaned to a high standard and that all legalities are in place. So we'll just start off with a lounge here. Focusing on the floor quickly, we can see that on this vinyl flooring we do have some areas where it's slightly cracked, slightly raised, and there is just general marking from furniture and that kind of thing over the vinyl. But we can see that there's no significant damage, none of the panels are cracked or broken. It's just general light marking that you'd expect over time. Small bit of staining there as well. We just focus on the walls quickly. You can see that on this main wall there's no marking, scuffing or damage whatsoever. I do believe that a significant portion of this property has been repainted fresh for this year, so as a result the walls are free from any marks or damage. Clearly see on this back wall, once it focuses, there's a nail with a piece of string and a few marks up the top. And panning to this wall behind the sofa, you can see again there is a nail in the wall, but other than that there's no kind of black marks or damage or anything like that, other than the kind of things you'd expect, like this. Please note that during your tenancy you are not allowed to stick anything to the wall with blue tack. The reason for this being is that the blue tack kind of leaves an oil stain behind, and on walls like this it is particularly obvious at the end, and there might be end of tenancy charges for any repainting that has to occur as a result of that. Once again, you can see that this main back wall, no marks, no damage whatsoever. It's all in really good condition. The same to this pillar here. We just focus on the furnishings quickly. You can see on this table there's quite a lot of wear, just general marking, scuffing to the top of the table. Once again, these are just the kind of marks you'd expect over time, but there's no significant damage, there's no cracks or major chips or anything like that that might have been caused by negligence. Just quickly look at the chairs. You can see that this chair is just slightly unstable. But they all appear to be free from any major damage. Quickly look at your two leather sofas here. We can see that there's no rips or tears to the fabric itself. just general kind of wear on the leather that you'd expect. There's no actual damage. It's just a slight paint mark there. And I can see that the seam on the corner here is starting to come away. There's a few more paint marks down the side. And a few more paint marks down the bottom as well. The corner, you just got the storage unit. Once again, a few kind of light scuff marks and scratches to it. A few paint stains. But generally nothing significant. Let me look at the sofa here. This one is a bit more worn than the others. We can see in the corner, just a bit more wearing to the leather. You can see that the arm as well, both arms actually, seem to be indented. Just a few more paint stains down the top. Look at your coffee table, we can clearly see that there's quite a big chip down the side and just general light chipping all the way around the edge. There's a stain right there. And if we look at this media unit, once again, in good condition. You can see it is a bit dusty as the property has been empty for a while since it was cleaned. But there's no actual damage to the unit itself. We've got 2 lamps in here. Let's do one last kind of pan of the room. Apologies if you can hear that beeping. I think there's an alarm going off on one of the neighbouring properties. Then we can see that your windows in here are operational as well. So we'll go into the bedrooms now. Start with bedroom number 1, which is just by the front door. Firstly, we'll just take a quick look at the carpet. You can see that the carpet has been recently hoovered. It's just a bit of dust and stuff underneath the desk. But importantly, it's free from any kind of major stains or ripping or anything like that. There's no burn marks. Just appears to be in generally good used condition. Then we just look at the underside of your mattress. We can see that there are some stains to it. And there. Then all these kind of black dots that you might not quite be able to see on the camera are just caused by the holes in the bed base. When we flip it over to the top, we can see that the top side of the mattress is free from any visible stains. It generally looks to be in good condition. Just quickly inside the wardrobe, you can see that your wardrobe is empty. No damage to the inside or to the doors. And at the outside is also in good condition with no visible chips or damage to the wood. There's nothing that I can see down the side of the unit either. Then just move on to the desk, focusing on the top. You can clearly see that there's some scratching and some marking to the top side of the desk, but there's no kind of major chips or actual damage. It's just general wear that you'd expect over time. Same to the front side, we can just see some kind of very light chipping, I suppose, along this seam, but it's all in place, it's not coming away. The drawers themselves all clean and empty. Doesn't appear to be any kind of marking, staining or damage to the inside of the drawers. Like your chair, there's one small mark on the back, but generally it looks good, no rips or damage to the fabric. And just a small storage unit, you've got a bit of marking to the top, kind of general marking on the inside of the units, and there is a small bit of damage there. If we just look at the walls quickly, we can see that there's no marking to these walls. There is some slight sort of cracking in the plaster, as we can see, but there's no blue tack marks, no damage, nothing like that. Can you see a bit more of the kind of cracking plaster and stuff around it in the corner? I have just spotted what appears to be right at the top, the remnants of some blue tack. And maybe in that top corner as well, just above the fire alarm. See on this back wall, no marks, no damage. There are just, once again, remnants of where blue tack has been. You can see it kind of leaves these oil stains. So just ask that all tenants don't use any blue tack on the walls, as there will be a charge to paint over them at the end of the year. I'm just looking at this back wall quickly, once again, other than some cracking to the plaster, no major marking or damage. And the same to this wall. Just look at your curtains quickly, in nice good condition, no kind of staining or damage to the fabric. I can confirm that your window is operational all the way to the top. So we just move on now downstairs to the rest of the property. Looking at these hallways quickly, once again we can see they all look to be in good condition. No major marking or scuffing to the walls. We're just going to bedroom number 2 now. Just focus on the walls quickly. can see that there's no major marking. Once again, just the remnants of some blue tack up at the top. But other than that, all looks to be in good condition. Behind the bed, no marking, no blue tack marks, nothing like that. Can just see some patches of paint discoloration there. Can see at the top of the wardrobe on the back, there is some light marking to that back wall. I imagine where tenants have had suitcases and things like that. As well as to the ceiling, there's just some light scuffing where things have scratched up against the ceiling. If we look inside the wardrobe quickly, you can see that it's nice and clean. No damage to the inside. At the outside is also free from any damage. You do have a coat rack on the back of your door as well. Just take a quick look at the top side of the mattress. We can see that there are a few kind of light stains. Not sure exactly how visible they will be on camera, but I can see that there are a few in this area. Then if we flip the mattress over, it does not appear that there's any kind of stains to the underneath. And if we look at the rest of the furnishings, you can see that the top side of your desk is in good condition. There's just some very light scratching to the top. The drawers are all clean and empty, free from any marks or stains. As is your chair, there's no kind of marks, rips or damage to the fabric. We do have a notice board in each room, so if you would like to hang things up like photos, posters, that kind of thing, we would recommend using this rather than sticking anything directly onto the wall. As we can see, your blind is operational. Some of the slats here are slightly bent out of shape, but as you can see, it comes all the way down. And all the way back to the top. And quickly look at this shelving unit. You can see that there are some stains, marks, general wear to the top. There's some damage down to the bottom. It does appear that that back panel might be slightly loose. I'm not going to touch it, but it does look slightly out of shape at the back. We've just got two mirrors here. We can see that there is some kind of paint or maybe makeup stain on this mirror, but there's no kind of cracks, chips or damage to the glass. And if we have a look at this one here, we can see just down at the bottom there's a few kind of black marks, but once again the glass itself looks to be in good condition. And then just quickly looking at the carpet, once again other than sort of general wear you would expect from a carpet. There's no stains, there's no marks, there's no damage, no burn holes either. So under the desk, we can see just a bit of paint discoloration, probably caused by some water a while ago, but other than that, it looks pretty good. I've just got some bins there for your convenience as well. So we'll move on downstairs now. Once again, just quickly having a look at the walls. As we can see, there's some kind of cracking to the plaster at the top, but there's no actual marks. It does appear that this wall has been freshly painted. Just look at your table here. You can clearly see to the top of the table there's quite a lot of marking and staining. The table itself is slightly wobbly. Let me just pull out the chairs. You can clearly see on this chair that there are 2 holes in it just to the top, and some just general marking to the material. Like your third chair has just been used to prop open this door for when it was being painted. So we'll continue with the bedrooms. Let's go into bedroom number 3 now. We quickly look at the underside of the mattress. We can see that there's no staining, no marking or anything to the underneath. Or to the top. We just focus on these walls as well, looking at this back wall behind the bed. Once again, good condition, no sort of marking or damage. Have been provided with what appears to be a dehumidifier in this room. Quickly look inside the wardrobe. Good condition, no damage, clean and empty. And the same for the front. Just look at the curtains as well. Some light marking just in the middle, but other than that, they look good. As you can see, your window clearly works. Just got another storage unit in here for you. Which is also in good condition. Once again, you've got quite a large mirror. As we can see, the glass doesn't have any chips, damage or cracks to it. There's no kind of paint stains or marks or anything like that to it either. And just a quick look at the carpet. Other than some light general wear that you'd expect from a carpet, There's no major marks, damage, burns or stains. Your desk area is good. Some light marking to the corner of the chair, but the actual fabric, no damage. Your drawers are all empty, free from any stains. There are just some light marks in this bottom one. And once again, on top of the desk is just some scratching, some light chips, and some wear to the top, but nothing significant. Similar with this other storage unit. Just quickly show you the kind of access to the outdoor space. I believe this is shared with the other flat. Just got some tables, chairs, that kind of thing. Yeah, once again, apologies for the noise from that alarm. We're just going to the final bedroom now, bedroom number 4. You can see the window is operational. I'll just close that. Look at the walls. Free from any kind of major marks, anything like that. A few more scratches and marks on the ceiling from where people have had stuff on top of the wardrobe. But no kind of blue tack, anything like that. When we look to the underside of the mattress, we can see a few stains in that bottom corner, as well as that top corner. We'll just flip it over, kind of another stain to the top. But yeah, as we can see, this back wall, where the mattress was, no marks whatsoever. This bedside table, you can see the top does have some marks and staining, that kind of thing. There's staining to the inside of the drawers. Just quickly looking at the carpet again. Once again, there's no tears, large stains or burns. It's generally all pretty good. Inside here you've just got a storage cupboard. As we can see, there's a few leftover bits, Hoover mop, that kind of thing. It's your food caddy. under the stairs, just got a leftover clothes rack and some carrier bags. I don't know whether these were left by the old tenants, but they now form part of the inventory. There's another drying rack on this radiator for you. Quickly look at this wall as well. You can see that there's no marks or damage to this wall. So I'll just move into the bathroom quickly, looking at this kind of vinyl floor. No damage or anything like that. You can see that around this tap there's a bit of wear to the chrome, just general wear around the plug hole. Everything's in nice clean condition. I can confirm the toilet is operational. As we can see, the button is quite loose. Quickly looking at the shower glass. All seems to be nicely cleaned. There's just one probably silicone mark to the glass there. The base of the shower is nice and clean. Can confirm that there's no hair or anything in the plug hole. And the actual shower is clean, no kind of limescale build up around the head. Quickly look inside this medicine cabinet. You can see there's a bit of rust, that kind of thing. And the actual mirror on the outside looks good. There's just general kind of rusting to the outside of the unit. The walls themselves look good. No sort of damage or anything like that. So we'll just move into the kitchen now. Start with your fridge. You can see it's nice and clean to the inside. There are just some kind of very small cracks to the underneath of that shelf and in this bottom one. But this bottom drawer doesn't look like it's got any cracks to it. The rest of the shelves look good. The same for the freezer part, no cracks in the drawers at the moment. Just be careful when you're putting things in and out of the freezer because the drawers can crack quite easily sometimes. We just quickly take a look inside all the cabinets. We can see they're nice and clean. Nothing left over. You can see that the hob's been cleaned. The extractor fan looks good. The oven glass is clean. There are just some streak marks down the middle. I'm not sure if you can pick them up on the camera, but we can see that there are 2 marks just down in the middle of the glass. But the oven racks themselves are really clean, and so around the oven itself. Quickly looking inside the dishwasher, a few watermarks. As you can see, the filter's been cleaned. There's no kind of damage or anything to these countertops. There's some light staining there, but the rest of this cupboard looks good. So So there's the sink. Just some light, kind of very light watermarks around the edge. But other than that, all good. Under the sink quickly. And inside the washing machine. Can see right on the back wall there does appear to be a little bit of staining. Just quickly looking at the fronts. Fronts of the cabinet look good. Can see on this one there are some light kind of stains around the front. But other than that, they all look pretty good. Floor itself, you can see there are some small chips in some of the tiles, but nothing that's been significantly damaged. When we look at these walls, we can see some areas where things have been painted over. There are a few marks down the bottom there as well. We quickly look at a fire extinguisher. We can see that it's got the pin and the tag still on it. If you do remove the pins and the tags without having to actually use the fire extinguisher, there will be a charge for a replacement. So that concludes the video inventory for 10A George Street for the academic year 2026-2027.